Yeah, Laura, we've heard 15 different stories from Portland police as to why they didn't arrest these people, and one of them being, oh well, we didn't see what was going on, but I released that video showing that they saw everything that happened. So you have the fact that they knew where Katie's attacker was. Katie's a conservative journalist. We're under attack out here all the time. Going to that safe house, she called the police, let them know where they were, and she had to walk 6.
CrossroadsIRL.com.
And in this video, again by Nick Sorder, Nick catches the Portland police covering for protesters. Now, the protesters were flashing daylight spotlights into the eyes of the DHS agents. Okay?
Shining something in the...
Yeah. So those are Antifa militants trying to blind the DHS agents, and then they run behind Portland PD.
Behind Portland police. Oh my God.
Like, it's on camera. This is why they don't want them around with cameras, because when you say these things on mainstream media, they think you're lying. All right, I set the tone. We're dealing with the use of our logic versus emotional drivers. Which party uses the emotional one? All right, so let me pause this, okay? So I'm going to answer that chat. So here's the DHS talking to Portland police and saying, look, someone committed a crime, ran up behind you. What are you guys doing about it? And let's hear their answer. You don't know why she's running. She's just... Guys, do you believe what this guy just said? Do you believe that they didn't see her flashing the floodlight into the eyes of the DHS agents on the roof and running behind them? Let me know in the chat. So keep the chats coming. I'm going to answer the chat right after this footage. They watched federal agents get beamed by Antifa and protected the assailants. It's on video, all right? And those are the Antifa agents walking away, and it's been uncovered that these guys have a safe house nearby. Portland PD knows exactly where they live, but are too afraid to go in there to arrest them. All right, so let me respond to the chat. We're dealing with the use of our logic versus emotional drivers. Which party uses the emotional one? Everyone knows that is the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is a party of actors and manipulators. If you listen to the average speech being given, especially during interviews by someone who is a Democrat, one of the things that you will notice is that they tend to they front load their answers with trigger words. They always put trigger words in front of their within the first 30 seconds to 1 minute of their answer to condition the minds of people listening to them to think a certain way. It's basic psychology. You say the right words at the beginning of your answer. It conditions the minds of the listeners, and then anything else you say is colored by that initial few words that you say. It's basic mental conditioning. Most of the Democrats are trained to do that. They are trained to do that so that they leverage your love for something or your hatred for something or someone. They front load it, they trigger you, and then anything else you say is masked by that initial rush, emotional rush that they triggered in you at the very beginning of their statement. They are pathetic. Do you live in America? No, I don't live in America. I live in Canada. And that annoys and upsets. In fact, it would upset them more if I still lived in Nigeria. I moved from Nigeria a few years back to Canada, and I live here with my family. And they're upset that someone who doesn't live in the States and who is African and an immigrant is siding with Donald Trump. They're like, they'll never accept you. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not talking about acceptance. I'm talking about the right thing, doing the right thing. And these guys are devoid or divorced from basic logic. They just want to hate. They just want to hate Trump. I know. I know about Canada. I don't cover Canadian news and politics simply because, and I'll just say, there's no freedom of speech here. And there's no freedom of speech in Nigeria either. There's no freedom of speech here. There's no freedom of speech in Nigeria. But it's a better trade-off because in Nigeria I wouldn't be able to do this effectively because the infrastructure is so bad. It got really bad 2 years ago when a new president got rigged into office, and like the infrastructure in Nigeria just started going downhill. Everything just went crazy. So this is a better trade-off than living in Nigeria at this time. So yeah, but I guess you're right. All right, now let me know I understand that whenever someone posts a chat that there's a notification that comes through on the audio. Do you like that notification staying on, or do you want me to turn it off? I want to tailor the experience to kind of work for you guys. And I know that when there's a lot of people typing and chatting at the same time, it might get annoying, but let me know if you want us to make adjustments to how the notifications sound during the live stream. Okay, what are my thoughts on Jordan Peterson? I love Jordan Peterson. I discovered him. When did I discover Jordan Peterson? I think it must have been 2018 or 2019. I discovered him and began to listen to his content. And being a Christian, I could understand his journey, and I value his ability to frame spiritual concepts intelligently, which I think is something that has been lacking in Christian circles for a long time. It's like when you ask a Christian, why do you believe what you believe? The Christian should be able to frame intelligently their faith, their statement of faith, why they believe what they believe, and do it in an intelligent way. All right. The argument that a lot of people have about religion is that they can't get an intellectual answer about the purpose or the utility of religion. And Jordan Peterson showed Christians how to do it. But the problem is that a lot of Christians still haven't learned it. And I think it's a sad thing that with all of the advantages that the likes of Jordan Peterson, Tom Sowell, because I discovered Tom Sowell a couple of years after I discovered Jordan Peterson. I discovered Tom Sowell in 2021, around February of 2021, and they both showed me how to articulate my convictions, and I'm still learning how to articulate my convictions in a way that can come across as intelligent and believable. So I think that most people who haven't discovered Jordan Peterson should really dig into his content. Yes, he's going through a health challenge, currently, and it's sad. We should all keep him in our prayers. We still need him around for another few years. He has to survive this season of difficulty. And please, if you do pray, please keep him in your prayer. Yes. So yes, I love and support what Jordan Peterson is doing. All right, so this is Nick Sauter talking about the whole scandal of Portland PD running interference for the Antifa militants. And we're going to just listen. It's a very short interview, but it tells us a lot about where America is, but essentially where the world is going. One of the things that encourages me to do what I do is that I know that whatever happens in the United States sends a signal to the rest of the world that it's okay to engage in this kind of behavior. It's hard to explain, but the simplest way to look at it is, from a sociological standpoint. When you have a leader, let's say there's a group of people and there's a leader that everyone looks up to and he does things a certain way. Everyone else in the group will get the signal that that thing is okay to do, and you should aspire to act in that way, that because it is rewarded by leadership and it is the best way to conduct your life. For people who engage in corruption in other countries, the United States and North America has always been that beacon. Europe, they have always been that standard to say, we want our countries to operate like this. That is what we aspire to. Other countries pressure, or the citizens of other countries pressure their leaders to learn from the West. However, with the West increasingly taking on third world practices and essentially third world values, it has become a huge signal to the rest of the world that the example that everyone should be following has essentially embraced third world practices and values. So the rest of the world is essentially going to start acting out in crazy ways. It is not okay for people to attack their political opponents. Once the United States started doing that, where President Trump was being dragged through the courts, it sent a signal to everyone that it's okay now. The United States cannot, in all good conscience, stand up in the community of nations to say political persecution through the courts is not okay. They've done it. They can't say that anymore. They can't stand up anymore to say political violence is not okay, because you have the Democrat Party championing political violence across the board, and then the press is protecting them and running cover for them. That is a problem. And you know, the title of this live stream talks about the brainwashing of Democrats, because it happens through the press. The press has been in partnership with the Democrat Party to brainwash the general population. Welcome, Canary King. Thanks for joining us. It's always awesome to see you. Yeah, you guys should get to hang out. Canary King meets I Set the Tone. You guys would be great friends. Canary King lives in New York. We met during one of my live streams some months ago, and I think he told me he lives in New York. I Set the Tone lives in I think Australia, or New Zealand. So you guys would be fast friends in the chat. So if you're currently watching, please consider leaving a chat, engage. Let's know your thoughts on the stories that we're covering. I would love to hear your opinion. Okay, so I Set the Tone left a chat. The format of this live stream, as long as we can handle it, is that we're going to be going through stories, but whenever there's someone that makes a statement in the chat, we will address the comment in the chat. It's a conversation. So I want us to have a conversational live stream and not something that is more like me reading off the content and then you waiting until the end of the show before I respond. I want it to be conversational. Now, for everyone who's watching, I want you guys to rate the show, all right? Rate the show, rate every show, and let's know if the interruptions in the chat is helpful or not helpful. I want to know if we should keep doing it this way or if we should do it the way other shows do it, where they basically do their spiel. They go through the content. The most important thing for them is the content. But for me, the most important thing for me is the audience. So let me know. Always let me know if you want us to do it differently, and then we'll check it out and make the adjustments and see how it goes. And then I want to announce that we're working on the call-in system. I want to give members of the show the ability to call in and talk about the stories. So I'm working on it. I currently have something set up, but I want to be sure that it is ready, and I also want to be sure that we have interest coming from the members. It's a members only feature. It's a members only feature because I can't open it up to everyone. It's not wise to do so. The live stream we had a couple of days back shows that you have people who might jump on it and really mess things up. It possibly even cause YouTube to take down the channel because we need to be very careful about what is said during the show, what is actually said. So I can only trust members of the channel. And when I say the channel, I'm talking about the YouTube channel. So if you're a member of the YouTube channel, you will get a post just before the live stream to let you know how to join the call-in. And then we will have you, be part of the show. You can ask questions or you can make your comments on the content. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys that way. So let me know what you think of that idea. Do you think it would be a great idea to be able to call in and just talk about the stories that we're covering, and then, you know, add more character to the live stream? So I mentioned that last night to I Set the Tone. We were in the chat after I published a new video, and as a member, you also get to see videos before they go live. All right, I have a bunch of videos that are lined up to go live, and what I do is that they are available to the members before anyone else sees them. So that's another privilege of being a member. So I have a response there. Yes, let's do that. So within the next couple of days, tomorrow is Friday. If you're a member, you're going to get a message sometime this evening or tomorrow morning to let you know how far we've come with setting up the call-in system. You already have a bunch of perks. There's a Discord server that's available. I'm going to make sure that the integration hasn't been messed up by YouTube, because it was working in January, but I'm not sure what was going on with the Discord server. So I'm going to take a look at that. There's going to be tons of updates being pushed to the members, and then you're going to be taking advantage of all of the perks. Like, I want to serve you guys excessively. I want to do my best to give you the highest quality, okay, that I can. All right, so I Set the Tone is introducing himself. Born in New Zealand, lived in Australia for 35 years. He's 51 years old, and Canary King, you guys will get along perfectly. I find that the people who join the show tend to be between the ages of 45 and 60. Okay, so personally, I'm 48 years old, and originally I thought that YouTube would attract a younger demographic, but I was shocked when I began to see that older people with families are interested in my content, because I don't do dancing videos. I don't do cringe videos where people dance and act out in very strange ways. I like to be very thoughtful because I have a family. I have 3 kids, and I want depth. I want someone to tell me how to navigate the nastiness that I see in the world. It's confusing to me that things are going the way they're going. This is not the world I was brought up in. It has changed so much. If I was in a coma, if I got into a coma in 2010 and I woke up in 2023, it will have been such a different world that I would not know what to do. Things have changed so much. So I want to create content that is of substance. Now, spend some time engaging with the chat. Let's watch this report by Fox News and Nick Sauter. We've watched several videos from Nick. Let's see what he says about what's going on in Portland. He was arrested a few weeks back after being assaulted by Antifa militants. He was assaulted. He reported it to the police. The police did not arrest the people who assaulted him, but they arrested him. Those are the kinds of stories you hear in third world countries, where there's a 2-tier justice system, but clearly certain cities in America, in the United States, have adopted that pattern.
They're always bending over backwards to get to dot the I's and cross the T's for the agitators, but they sure will let this go on for a while.
Yeah, Laura, we've heard 15 different stories from Portland police as to why they didn't arrest these people, and one of them being, oh, well, we didn't see what was going on, but I released that video showing that they saw everything that happened. So you have the fact that they knew where Katie's attacker was. Katie's a conservative journalist. We're under attack out here all the time. Going to that safe house, she called the police, let them know where they were, and she had to walk 6 to meet a patrol car so that they would take a report for her. 6 blocks, because they will not come into this area. They are told that they are not allowed to drive police cars into this area no matter what. I mean, who is in charge here? Is it Antifa or is it the city?
So I'm glad that Fox News is covering, or at least is interviewing Nick. But last week I was asking the question, where is Fox News? Where is CNN? Where is MSNBC? Where are their reporters? Because this has been going on in Portland for over 100 days. Non-stop. Over 100 days. There are live streams that I join on X of citizen journalists who are on the ground. Honey Badger Mom is always there recording the insanity, but you don't find Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. The left-wing media pretends like this isn't happening. So I'm happy that they're interviewing Nick, but that was only on the insistence of the conservative community who were in an uproar at what happened to Nick a few days ago when he was assaulted by Antifa militants and then arrested by Portland PD, and they charged him with, they didn't even know what to charge him with. They had to figure something out and pin it on him, but they had to drop the case when the federal government stepped in to say, what's going on here? And then they said, well, there's nothing to see here. He's free to go. So if Nick didn't have the visibility or the followership that he had, this would have happened to him and he would have been thrown in jail and no one would know about it. So it's horrific to see this happening. These small cities are like a test run of what Democrats want to do across the United States.
Subscribe.
Thanks for watching, liking, and sharing this video. Please subscribe, leave a super thank, and join my membership to keep me doing this. A huge thank you to my supporters listed on the screen. Thank you for your donations and membership.
Thanks for watching.